Hey, how's everyone doing? So today I want to talk about something that I recently saw online, a story that kind of resonated with me a lot. It really kind of made me happy, in a way, but it was also sad. And it's about this guy named Greg Brooks Jr. He was a LSU Division One football player. He is 23 years old right now. He was in his senior season a couple years ago in 2023, and he was by all intents and purposes seemed like he was going to go to the NFL. I mean, if you see what this guy was capable on the field, you probably have no doubt that he was a top tier athlete. I mean, I'm going to show you guys some of his highlights, just because I think they're cool. There he is, just intercepting the ball and kind of finding his way there. Here he is. So as you can see, he's playing football at a really at the highest level, and he's doing well. And that all changed. This was in 2022. Now he was all set to come back his senior year in 2023 and keep this kind of performance and maybe go to the league. But that all changed when he started feeling a little kind of sick. He was getting dizzy when he would when he would get up from tackles, and he knew something was wrong. Upon further examination, he was seen that he had a brain tumor. And so he had surgery, and that led to another complication, and he ended up with extreme deficits. And overnight, his dream of going into the NFL died. And this is a very unfair thing that happened to him. He had to go through months of rehab. He, went through things that I can only imagine comes with brain surgery to that degree. And his ability to keep fighting is something that hasn't left him. His ability to keep positive throughout these very trying times is something that I find very admirable. It's something that I would want to try to replicate in my life when I go through things. And I think it's important to shed light on these kinds of stories, because I think everyone can kind of take a lesson from it. Everyone goes through things, but when you kind of put it in perspective, there's this saying of like, if everyone in the world put all their problems in like a pile, you would run, take yours, and get away, because yours are very insignificant compared to other people's. And it's not that your feelings are invalid or any of that crap. It's more like these other people that are taking these things in stride, they're leading by example. They're showing you that through staying positive, and even if something, like this happens and it breaks your heart, it might make your heart bigger, and it might make you more empathetic, and it might make you try. And so in this interview, in this clip I'm about to show you, I think this guy demonstrates it perfectly. He's a G. He just takes what happened to him and not only accepts it, but decides he's going to be a good person through it, and to keep fighting. And I fully admire that. And anyway, I'm going to show you guys a clip from this. I thought it was really nice. So this is him being asked how his goals have kind of changed since his injury. And keep in mind, this was around 2 years after the highlights I just showed you.
Think back. So, man, when you think back to before you got sick, what are some of the goals you'd set for yourself that are now changed?
Make it to the NFL. But we also do know younger, like living good. Cause like me, the woman of my dreams, everything. Just being a good person. Like when somebody talk about me, yeah, I mean that's a good dude right there. Like I don't see myself doing anything, but now I just like my goals are just to get better every single day. Do not lose hope. do not lose faith. Have sight on the future. Do not lose hope.
Don't lose hope,
Just
man.
keep on fighting. Just keep on fighting, no matter how hard it gets.
Now, that guy was about to cry, the interviewer. And honestly, it would be very hard for me to be in that, be that guy that's interviewing him, because it's a tragic story. It can, do a number on you just to be close to someone that's going through something that serious. But I think especially during Men's Mental Health Month, you can kind of take an appreciation to this, on how this guy is going through something. In my opinion, he's leading by example on how to handle these things that happen, these challenges that, in my opinion, God throws at you, that, the world, the universe, however you look at it, but that's how I look at it, throws at you when you are kind of trying your best to do good, and through no discernible fault of your own, you just get kicked in the teeth. You get kicked in the teeth and you decide how to respond. And this young man responded in, I'm going to try to be a better person. I'm going to try to get better. I'm not going to lose hope. I'm not going to let this get me down. And I like this interview a lot because there's also moments in there where you can see that although he's trying his best, it's not without, challenges. There was a segment in the interview also where he says, they ask him about football and he's like, sometimes I watch it and I think that's supposed to be me, but I'm just happy to be here. And it really shows to me that, yes, it does hurt him. It's not that he's invincible. It's not that he's this special type of person that doesn't feel emotional pain, that doesn't feel emotional fatigue, that doesn't feel what we call, I think, depression or whatever, all these things. It's that he chooses to live his life a certain way. He chooses to be happy that he's alive, that he made it through that ordeal. And I think that's really important these days because in comparison, I know I've been upset at things that happen in my life that are a lot less serious than this. And I know a bunch of people that have done the same, that are a lot more angry or embittered through things that aren't a quarter of this guy's difficulties that he's going through. And it's not to say that everyone's wrong or this and that. It's more like you see how this guy's trying and it affects everyone in the room positively. This obviously the interviewer was a little sad or whatever, but it's like an inspirational kind of emotion. It's like, this guy, he's going through all this and he's keeping a smile on his face. It's the whole the guy who can smile in the rain kind of thing. You just keep going. And how he hasn't lost his kind of hopefulness with the world. He hasn't become cynical. He hasn't become self-pitying. He's not making excuses. In a situation where almost everyone would, I think, be mopey, he's choosing to be kind of this, I believe, a pillar for hope and a pillar for, I would say, masculinity, honestly, for toughness, for resilience. This is, I think this is someone that should get a lot more attention because he's doing the right thing. He's showing you how to be strong. And it's not this whole notion of being strong and I do everything alone and I get my pleasure from the fruits of my labor, but they're just for me. It's more like my ability to endure gives everyone around me this warm feeling of hopefulness and optimism. And I think that's a lot of what we're missing nowadays. I think there's no shortage of people that go through things but choose the opposite path to this young man and become, like I said earlier, embittered, cynical, and kind of, I don't want to say give up, but go around a few years floating. So I think something like this, especially if you're around his age, around our ages, whatever, 23, 24, 25, and you feel lost and you feel like things haven't gone your way and it's not your fault. Trust me, this guy, things haven't gone his way recently and I don't think it's his fault. It can show you that, one, people go through more crap than you. Two, your situation isn't that difficult. Three, there is people out there that can go through things like this and keep a smile on their face And 4, I feel like that means you can do it too. Even if it's not true, even if like for whatever reason it's proven that you can't go through these things and keep a smile on your face, you particularly, whoever's watching this, isn't it better to think that way? Isn't it better to like, it's not blind hope. It's just like, I choose to be happy because I'm still alive, because I'm still breathing, because I still get to try, because I'm not going through a worse situation, because I'm blessed in other ways. You know, because a lot of the times I feel like we get caught up in crap that doesn't matter. And I mean this for this goes for me as well. I think that it's easy to get caught up in either prestige, status, wealth, sometimes even the perception of choice, you know, whatever it may be, like whether you're at work and you're making less money than other people, or you're making the most money at your job, but there's people that you know your age that are making a lot more money than you. There's always going to be people like that. There's always going to be people ahead of you in the game. So like, I don't know. I think that this is a great lesson to learn. And I think this is a great person to take the lesson from. I mean, I think